Today's news highlights. Date May 9, 2025. News highlights. For the first time in Taiwan, a commemorative event was held to commemorate the victory in the European War, and President Lai Ching-te pointed out that the outbreak of World War II was not only due to authoritarian expansion, but also because of the appeasement of aggression, which led to disaster. He stressed that the commemorative activities symbolize Taiwan's connection with the international democratic camp, and put forward three major significance: unity against aggression, freedom and democracy bring peace and prosperity, and vigilance against the lessons of history. Lai called on all countries to work together to protect freedom and guard against totalitarian threats. The European and British representatives in Taiwan also stressed the importance of defending historical truth and democratic values. News highlights. The Finance Committee of the Legislative Yuan held a meeting on May 8 to discuss the establishment of a sovereign wealth fund, and invited 6 major ministries to report on the source of funds and the mode of operation. Although the government has expressed a positive assessment, the Ministry of Finance has not made a clear commitment to fiscal resources, and the central bank is opposed to the use of foreign exchange reserves. Although the existing pension fund has performed well, it is not easy to transform due to legal restrictions. Experts suggested that a specific law should be enacted, an independent governing body should be established, and governance should be transparent, and cross-ministerial coordination and social consensus should be used to promote the viability of sovereign funds. News highlights. On May 8, Taiwan held its first celebration of the 80th anniversary of its victory in Europe, and President Lai Ching-te stressed that the outbreak of World War II stemmed from the appeasement of aggression, and that the lessons of history remind the world that only by uniting against authoritarianism can we safeguard freedom and peace. He pointed out that liberal democracy is fundamental to the development of the country, and that the threat of the new totalitarian regime must be met with strength and cooperation. European and British representatives in Taiwan also called for the defense of historical truth and shared values. The event symbolizes Taiwan's deepening ties with the international democratic camp. News highlights. The Taiwan dollar rose to 29.59 yuan intraday on the 5th, hitting a new high this year and becoming the strongest Asian dollar, with a cumulative appreciation of 8.74%. Yang Jinlong, the governor of the central bank, stressed that the exchange rate is volatile and will increase the adjustment force, and warned that foreign exchange speculation funds will withdraw from Taiwan. The influx of hot money in the market and the dumping of foreign exchange by exporters form a herd effect, triggering irrational appreciation. Exporters wailed the pressure of foreign exchange losses, and the stock market fell 254 points in the shock, and President Lai Ching called on the public to have confidence in the economy. News highlights. On May 8, 2025, white smoke rose from the Sistine Chapel in the Vatican, symbolizing the election of the 267th Pope of the Catholic Church, who was elected by Cardinal Robert Prevost of the United States, becoming the first American Pope in history, known as the Good 14. He headed the Vatican bishopric and was highly appreciated by former Pope Francis. The new Pope made his debut in St. Peter's Square and delivered a speech emphasizing peace and solidarity, which was congratulated by dignitaries from all over the world. News highlights. The United States intends to impose high tariffs on semiconductors, causing the market to worry about the prospects of TSMC, and the stock price was depressed to 918 yuan at the end of the 8th, down 10 yuan, and faced a 900 yuan defense battle on the 9th. The legal person pointed out that if the new Taiwan dollar continues to strengthen, it will affect TSMC's revenue and profit performance, and the US dollar revenue conversion to Taiwan dollar may be as high as 86.4 billion yuan, which will put pressure on the operating profit margin. There is a strong wait-and-see atmosphere in the market, and investors are focusing on future policies and exchange rate changes. News highlights. Driven by the strong demand for AI servers, the revenue of the top 3 foundries, Quanta, Wistron, and Wistron, all hit a new high in the same period of the previous year in April. Quanta's revenue reached RMB 154 billion, while Wistron and Wistron reached RMB 63.8 billion respectively, a slight decrease from March, but a significant annual increase. Quanta forecasts strong orders and continued expansion of production in the United States. Wistron is optimistic about the growth of AI server shipments quarter by quarter. Wei Ying emphasized that the investment of cloud customers has not decreased, and the data center expenditure has continued to increase by more than 24%. All 3 companies recorded record revenue in the first 4 months of the same period, and the outlook is optimistic. News highlights. US President Donald Trump announced that the US and the UK have reached a comprehensive trade deal, making the United Kingdom the first country to reach an agreement after the United States introduced new tariffs. The agreement includes tariff cuts for specific industries, but the 10% base tariff is temporarily maintained, and the UK concessions on digital taxes. The deal is seen as a diplomatic victory for British Prime Minister Scott and one of the largest trade outcomes since Brexit. Experts believe that if it shows a cooling of trade tensions, it will be good for the market. News highlights. OpenAI announced on May 8 the launch of the global version of the Stargate project, OpenAI for Countries, in the first phase of cooperation with 10 countries or regions to help promote democratic AI and build AI infrastructure. The plan is expected to generate more than $100 billion in AI infrastructure opportunities, benefiting Taiwanese companies such as Honhai and Quanta. The plan will help countries build data centers, provide customized ChatGPT services, and strengthen the security of AI models. OpenAI will also work with countries to drive innovation and build AI ecosystems to improve healthcare, education, and public services. News highlights: U.S. officials have announced that the Trump administration will not implement the export controls on AI chips set by the Biden administration and plans to overhaul them because they are too complex and bureaucratic. The norm was supposed to go into effect on May 15, but was met with strong opposition from tech companies and foreign governments. The Trump administration will push for a simplified version of the rules, with the goal of protecting U.S. technology and preventing adversaries from gaining access to advanced technology. The Commerce Department said the new draft rule will target U.S. innovation and ensure leadership. News highlights: a visually impaired man in Dujin, New Taipei City, went to Laifu to buy instant noodles in the early morning, asked the clerk to help with instant noodles and thoughtfully said just soak it wet, but the clerk responded with annoyance, which then detonated a quarrel. The clerk lost control of his emotions and repeatedly abused the other party with English swear words, and was recorded by the mobile phone chat app throughout the process. After the police arrived at the scene, Huang Nan filed a complaint for blatant insult. Laifu expressed regret and said that the employee involved had left the company, denied discrimination, and stressed that it would continue to care for consumers and review service responses. News highlights: Cardinal Priest was elected the 267th Pope at the Vatican, becoming the first Pope from the United States in history. He stressed that the Church should be a deliberative body that builds bridges and pursues peace and justice, and thanked the Diocese of Peru for its support. Liang XIV continued the direction of Francis reforms and showed a moderate leadership style. Trump also publicly congratulated his election and praised his election for bringing glory to the United States. News highlights: Unilion star Lin Yuquan has launched a new book, All In All Out, exposing the internal contradictions when he played for Fubon Titans in the past. He mentioned that the team was divided into factions, and there was even a class division among the players outside the country, and alluded to the conceited attitude of his teammates who had played in the big leagues. The book also talked about the fact that in 2017, Lin Jiaquan's community posted a post to satirize the lack of active guarding, and Lin bluntly said that he hoped that if there were problems, he could communicate directly, rather than criticize them publicly. News highlights: Wang Xinling joined the ranks of fraudstars of Yiping News Network to remind the public to beware of fraud. She shared that the makeup artist's account was stolen because he clicked on a fake update link, which led to a fraudulent group borrowing money under his name. She appealed to be more vigilant and safer when you receive unfamiliar links and loan messages, and reminded not to provide personal information lightly to avoid becoming an accomplice to fraud. News highlights: today, 9th, it will be cloudy and sunny in Taiwan, hot during the day, local thunder showers in the afternoon, and the high temperature in the south will be 37 degrees Celsius. Meteorological expert Wu Durong pointed out that the second wave of plum rain fronts moved south over the weekend, 10th and 11th, bringing thunderstorms and severe weather, and by Tai turned cooler. The weather stabilized after the front was far away next Monday, and the whole Taiwan turned sunny and high temperature from the 12th to the 18th, with very hot during the day, cool in the morning and evening, and a large temperature difference between day and night. News highlights: the Kuomintang 426 Kaidao rally sparked controversy, and legislator Zheng Zhengchao was revealed to be suspected of mobilizing Vietnamese nationals to participate, and Ho Thi Ching, the owner of Hong Yi Health Center who is close to him, claimed that the participants only held residence permits, and slapped Zheng in the face and called him the spouse and second generation of the identity card. As the incident prolonged, former Democratic Progressive Party candidate Lin Sijia received a report revealing that he and her boyfriend were involved in usury and violent debt collection, and the two have now been detained. Lin criticized Zheng for being linked to black finance, but still did not respond to the doubts of the outside world. News highlights: Beishaitan Mizzou entered the 7th day of incense, and on the way back to Luan, it passed through Yunlin, Zhonghua, and Nantou and other places, and netizens were pleasantly surprised to find that the Luan sedan chair route actually outlined a huge love, which caused heated discussions. Many believers were moved by their messages, calling Mizzou loves Taiwan very much and this guide is super warm, praising Mizzou for protecting the believers with full love, making this year's incense event unique. News highlights: on May 7th, a train of Taiwan Railway found a black handbag lost by passengers, which contained as much as 4 million yuan in cash, setting the largest case of lost cash in the history of Taiwan Railway. The owner, a man surnamed Hu, a Vietnamese migrant worker, said that 3.5 million yuan was his savings and 500,000 yuan was a loan, which he planned to bring to relatives in urgent need. The employer expressed surprise that Hunan was carrying such a large amount of cash, and stressed that his monthly salary was only about 30,000 yuan. The railway police have returned the cash and are investigating the source and use of the money. News highlights: affected by the 7th wave of credit controls by the central bank and the U.S. tariff policy, Taiwan's housing market is in a deep downturn. According to the statistics of Taiwan Housing Group, the transaction volume of Liudu and Hsinchu counties and cities in April decreased by 17% on average from the previous month, and the annual decline reached 28%. Lai Yongxing, chairman of Fang's institution, pointed out that the housing market is facing multiple unfavorable factors such as policy, economy, and interest rates, and the market may be sluggish for up to 3 years, especially after TSMC sufficiency weakens, and the housing market in the central and southern regions is even cooler. He suggested that builders should focus on handover and recycling, and no longer push the case, and believes that this is the best time for buyers to choose. News highlights cardinals around the world elected Robert Prevost as the 267th Pope on May 8, becoming the first Pope from the United States. Chinese ambassador to the Holy See Li Shiming recalled his interaction with Prevost, saying that he had a clear understanding of the difference between Taiwan and China, and expressed his gratitude for Taiwan's blessings. According to Li Shiming's analysis, China's policy of syncretizing religion in recent years has affected the development of the Sino-Vatican Agreement. He believes that the appointment of the new Chinese ambassador to the Holy See His Hong Gai will contribute to the future development of Taiwan-Vatican relations. News highlights Lee Duowai, the goddess of Korean professional cheerleading, recently disclosed the reason for her move on social platforms and revealed that she will develop in Taiwan for a long time. She lamented that Taiwan's housing prices are expensive, but despite this, she still has plans to buy a house, and said that she has started saving money to achieve her goal. Lee Duowai revealed that she chose to sign a long-term lease, and emphasized that she hopes that her new home can be beautifully furnished and fully prepared for her new life. She also revealed that her old home was only rented for 1 year, so she decided to look for a long-term rental option and was interested in buying a house in the future. News highlights esophageal cancer is not exclusive to men. According to statistics from the National Health Administration, nearly 3,000 people were newly diagnosed with esophageal cancer in 2022, more than 9 of whom were men, and most of them suffered from habits such as smoking, drinking alcohol, or chewing betel nut. However, women should not ignore the risks. 60-year-old artist Fang Wenlin was diagnosed with esophageal cancer last year because of her habit of drinking sorghum wine before bed and drinking hot soup, which caused damage to her esophagus. Doctors remind that long-term consumption of overheated food will burn the esophagus, increase the risk of cancer, and the initial symptoms are not obvious. You should pay attention to dysphagia, weight loss, and other conditions, and seek medical attention as soon as possible. News highlights Shu Qi recently appeared in a silver sequined fishtail gown, with 3-dimensional wavy lines outlining the perfect curve, and the close-fitting design shows off her figure, coupled with wet long hair, natural makeup, sapphire earrings, and naked gold high heels. The overall look is impeccable, exuding the charm of a goddess of the sea. This set of platinum fog light fishtail looks was hotly searched on Zaya Hongshu, which sparked heated discussions among netizens, praising her flawless figure. Shu Qi red carpet style has always been the focus, not only because of the high-end choice of dresses, but also because she can interpret the unique temperament of each dress, whether sexy, elegant or handsome, all show an unparalleled fashion attitude, and can be called the red carpet goddess in the Chinese circle. News highlights bariatric physician Xiao Zhejian reminded that there are 4 landmines in breakfast that may affect blood sugar and make weight loss more difficult. The first is sugary drinks, such as jelly soy milk and milk tea, which are too high in sugar. Not only will blood sugar spike, but will also make people feel hungry quickly. The second is high-fat starch fried foods, such as scallion pancakes and fried dough sticks, which are extremely high in calories and tend to make people hoard fat. Third, dessert-type breakfasts such as condensed milk toast or muffins should also be avoided as they are extremely high in sugar and fat. Finally, certain high-sugar fruits and juices such as mango, pineapple, and fruit juice can cause a rapid rise in blood sugar. Dr. Su recommends choosing sugar-free beverages and boiled and steamed foods, as well as increasing protein and fiber intake to help maintain stable blood sugar and a feeling of fullness for a long time. News highlights as the temperature rises after the beginning of summer, the electricity bill is about to enter the summer month electricity price from June to September, and how to effectively save air conditioning costs has become the focus of everyone's attention. The proprietress of an electric shop shared her experience that replacing the old air conditioner that is more than 10 years old can significantly save electricity bills, and she personally measured that the annual electricity bill dropped from 11,633 yuan to 5,331 yuan, saving nearly 30,000 yuan. She suggested that the public long pain is better than short pain, replace the old air conditioner as soon as possible, and reminded the government that the current subsidy for replacing the old with the new air conditioner, each unit can receive a subsidy of 4,605,000 yuan. In addition, the purchase of new air conditioners with Class 1 energy efficiency can also apply for excise tax exemption. News highlights Kuomintang chairman Zhu Liluang used Hitler to imitate President Lai Ching-te, triggering international condemnation. Taipei Mayor Chang Wanan said when questioned in the parliament on the 9th, that this remark was inappropriate and should be reviewed, and stressed that the statements of politicians of all parties should be unanimously reviewed. Democratic Progressive Party lawmaker Hong Jianyi pointed out that Nazi history should not be consumed politically and called on Zhu Liluang to apologize publicly. Chang Wanan responded that history should be respected, and that remarks should be avoided, and stressed that Taiwan's democracy was not easy to come by. News highlights Cardinal Robert Francis Prevost of the United States was elected the 267th Catholic Pope on the 8th, titled Yang 14, becoming the first Pope from the United States in the history of the Church. He has been a missionary in Peru for many years, and with Peruvian citizenship, he has broken through the traditional barrier of Americans who are difficult to become popes. Formerly at the head of the bishopric, the late Pope Francis was the first to say peace to you, a vision of tolerance and progress. News highlights South Korean actress Song Ji-ho came to Taiwan after 7 years of absence, and today, 8th, promoted the BBC Earth reality show Sneaking into Korea, Song Ji-ho's Henio adventure in Xinyi district, and attended the premiere to interact with fans. She not only shared the concept of the show, mentioned the cultural inheritance of AMA, but also showed intimate actions, taking the initiative to care for the wheelchair fans on the way, helping to cover the blankets and confirm the condition, showing the people-friendly and warm side, which touched the audience. News highlights Lin Yunwei, the daughter of the late artist Andy, recently shared that when she went to Paris to travel to buy 3 boutique bags and returned to Taiwan, she was seized by the customs because she did not know that the total price exceeded 20,000 yuan and had to be declared. She honestly responded to the place of purchase, was taken to a small room to take notes, and finally chose to buy back at a double price in order to retrieve the bag, spending more than $70,000 more. She stressed that she did not carry a conspicuous paper bag, laughing that she was too unlucky, and reminded the public to pay special attention to the entry declaration regulations. News highlights Joe Yushin attended the opening of his friend Jerry's hot pot brand Washi Shabu today, 8th, served as a one-day store manager, and personally demonstrated the sukiyaki cooking method. He clarified that he was only friends with the strongest female liar on the surface Kei Yeonjaeun, denied the scandal, and admitted that he had been single for 3 or 4 years, and his relationship went naturally. Talking about his younger brother Jo Xingj being a father, he said that he was envious and glad that he was expected to consider starting a family after the age of 35 or 36, and he also felt a little sorry for being busy and having no time to accompany his family. News highlights King Ren Xiankai recently returned to his hometown to shoot a documentary on the Danaka Marathon, and happened to meet Beishaden Mizu to return to Luan, and excitedly exclaimed, "Thank you Mizu for coming to our Tianzhong town." He enthusiastically took a photo with the incense lamp feet, showing a pro-people demeanor. Ren Xiankai once filmed a documentary on Daejiama at his own expense, and has been paying attention to Mizu culture for many years. He is also committed to promoting activities in his hometown, and as a consultant for the Danaka Marathon, he is always warmly welcomed by the villagers when he returns home. News highlights artist D.S. Su Ziwan, died in Japan in February this year due to influenza complicated by pneumonia, and his family has struggled to get out of the pain. Mother Huang Chunmei was sent to the emergency department for heart pain due to excessive grief, and now she is regularly treated in the physical and mental department, and frankly admits that her liver and intestines are still broken. Xiao S was also deeply affected and decided to move into Big S's old house to accompany his mother and take care of each other with his eldest sister. The 3 women of the Su family were teary-eyed and depressed when they mentioned Big S. Psychologists point out that the weeks after bereavement are the deepest period of grief, especially when faced alone. News highlights in the latest episode of the YouTube show The Next One, Hyugwa and the popular boy group Ozone formed a limited boy group OGUA to experience the idol life. He was frightened by high-intensity training such as running 10 kilometers a day, and laughed that it was like returning to the days when he was a soldier. In the process, while practicing running, he explained the history of the Taiwanese men's group, and also challenged dance training. Hyugwa intimately reminded the younger generations to eat well and show the demeanor of the warm-hearted elders, which aroused enthusiastic responses after the program was broadcast. News highlights Xiao Tiantian, Zhang Qun, quietly returned to Taiwan and looked for a job because of her poor development on the other side, and at the same time sought reunion with her ex-husband Song Jingxian. She sent a 1,000-character text to Song in March this year, expressing her hope to restore the old good, and using the child as a reason, hoping to give the child a complete family. She mentioned that as her child grows up, she hopes to accompany her to grow up and cherish the moment. However, Song Jingxian did not accept this, believing that Britney's behavior was not sincere enough, and said that it was impossible to reunite under the current circumstances. News highlights Hsinchu City Blue Committee Zheng Zhengchao recently sparked controversy after participating in the 426 rally and accusing him of recruiting Vietnamese migrant workers to support the field. Subsequently, the person in charge of the health center, Ho Thi Ching, was revealed to be suspected of lending usury to new residents and collecting debts with violence, and the prosecutor launched an investigation and detained Ho Thi Ching and his accomplices. Speaking to the media today, Zheng Zhengchao said that he was completely unaware of the incident, and stressed that he respected the judiciary and stressed that he was completely ignorant of the lending problem of the health center. News highlights Wu Guozheng, chairman of the Kuomintang Party Department in Keelung City, was involved in the ghost joint signature case of the Basic Procuratorate investigation, and was searched by the prosecutor again yesterday, 7th, and detained and forbidden to see. This case involves the recall case of lying city councillor Zhang Wenting and Zhang Haihao, and it is suspected that there are problems such as forged documents and ghost signatures. Wu Guozheng and former Deputy Secretary General of the party department Han Jiyuan were reinterrogated yesterday. Han Jiyuan paid 100,000 yuan in bail, and Wu Guozheng was detained and banned from seeing him on suspicion of colluding and destroying evidence. Prosecutors have brought back a number of exhibits from the city party headquarters and are investigating the role of Mr. Wu and other members in the recall petition. News highlights: when the Taipei District Court tried the Jinghua City corruption case, and when K. Wen's and other 4 defendants were arraigned again, a screenshot of a suspected bill law exam question sparked heated discussions on the internet. The content of the exam questions is cleverly integrated into current affairs, using pseudonyms such as Abai and National Rohu, and there is even a description of the roaring technique of the national gills, which is hilarious. Netizens left messages saying that the topic was close to current affairs, and even pointed out that there was a subtle sourness in it, alluding to K. Wen's. Although the authenticity of the exam questions has not yet been confirmed, its content has already aroused enthusiastic responses on the internet. News highlights: Beishaidan Mizu incense attracted 330,000 incense lanterns to walk with them, and the scene was spectacular. This year, for the first time in Nantou, believers have climbed into the sedan chair to pray for protection. However, experts warn that although the modern rules for incense entry are more relaxed, there are still 18 taboos to follow, and violating them may anger the gods and affect the safety of themselves and their teams. Taboos include: first-time participants need to wear new clothes, women are not allowed to touch the shrine during menstruation, pregnant women are not allowed to drill the bottom of the chair, etc. Believers should maintain cleanliness and respect, avoid disrespectful behavior, and ensure a smooth incense. News highlights: Chinese professional baseball veteran Lin Yuquan recently released a new book, All In, Lin Yuquan's Way of Ball, sharing his experience and insights in his career of more than 10 years of professional baseball. In the book, he talked about the team problems of the Fubon Titans in the past, broke the news that some players felt conceited because they had played in the big leagues, and even Gao Qiahui could not impress them, and pointed out that there was a factional division between local and foreign players. Lin Yuquan also reviewed Lin Jiaxuan's community posts in the past, emphasizing that the team should communicate honestly, and quoted Ichiro Suzuki's famous saying, "A team that can communicate openly is a truly strong and excellent team." News highlights: a life case occurred in Nanzi District, Kaohsiung City in the early morning today, 9th. A husband and wife had an argument due to drunkenness, and the husband surnamed Cheng slashed his wife Chen with a knife, causing him multiple knife wounds and heavy bleeding, and was sent to the hospital for treatment. After receiving the report, the police arrested Cheng Nan and investigated him for homicide. The couple has been married for about 2 years and has a 4-month-old baby girl, who is currently being cared for by a neighbor and awaiting intervention by a social worker. News highlights: former Interior Minister Li Hongyuan recently mentioned in his speech that Taiwan is located at the junction of the Eurasian Plate and the Philippine Sea Plate, with frequent earthquakes and multiple active faults, and many residents live in high-risk areas but face high housing prices. He pointed out that Taiwan's land use should be planned according to disaster risks, and the government should set a 30-year target to gradually replace the population and infrastructure located in dangerous areas. He criticized Taipei, New Taipei, and Tainan as the most dangerous areas, and suggested that the Taiwanese authorities should promote disaster-proof urban renewal, but the plan was blocked by the administration and could not be implemented. News highlights: recently, an influencer mother and her husband took their 2-year-old daughter to a Uniqlo branch and recorded the process of her daughter pooping in the store and shared it on social media. In the video, the little girl defecates behind a suit display case, and the father says that Uniqlo's atmosphere and magnetic field can cure his daughter's constipation, and praises the store as really amazing and wonderful. The video sparked a strong reaction from netizens, many criticizing the lack of quality of parents and saying that such behavior should not happen in public places. A netizen who claimed to be the manager of the store responded, saying that the store did not allow this behavior, and asked the parents to be responsible for compensating for possible losses and reserving the right to prosecute. News highlights: Lin Yuquan first talks about the controversy with teammate Lin Jiaxuan in 2017 in his new book All In, Lin Yuquan's Way of Ball. He mentioned that at that time, Lin Jiaxuan posted a post on social media to satirize his guarding style, which made him feel entangled. Lin Yuquan stressed that if there is a problem, it should be communicated privately, rather than publicly criticized. He also pointed out that some foreign players feel conceited because they have played in major leagues, and even seniors such as Qiahui, who has made great achievements, is difficult to command. Lin Yuquan agrees with head coach Ye Junzhang's view that the team should communicate openly and honestly, so as to become a strong and excellent team. News highlights: the dispute between Korean star Kim So-hyun and the bereaved family of the late actress Kim Se-ryan has escalated recently, with YT anchor Kim Se accusing Kim So-hyun and a number of media people of being the culprits in Kim Se-ran's death. In response to Kim Se's accusations, SBS reporter Kang Kyung-yoon decided to file a complaint and fight back, and she publicly clarified that she had never been to the United States and provided her entry and exit records. Kang Kyung-yoon pointed out that the source of Kim Se's accusations is unknown, and stressed that the incident involved a recording imitated by AI technology, and said that he would make every effort to pursue responsibility. She has filed a complaint with the court, imploring the police to launch a swift investigation and hope to end the chaos as soon as possible. News highlights: with the arrival of summer, the sweltering heat and humidity have caused many people to face body odor problems, but in fact, it is not only caused by sweat, but also by daily diet. Doctors and dietitians have pointed out that foods containing volatile sulfides, such as garlic and onions, are excreted through sweat and urine, enhancing body odor, as are curries with strong red meat, alcohol, and spices. TCM practitioners also mentioned that people who regularly eat foods such as leeks and garlic may experience a strong old man's smell. In addition, certain healthy foods such as cabbage and cauliflower also contain sulfides, which may trigger odors. Experts recommend drinking plenty of water, sweating, and eating foods that can help improve body odor, such as apples and kiwi fruit. News highlights: singer Guo Tingjun has been actively slimming down since 2021, successfully losing 34 kilograms, changing from XXL size to XS, showing amazing perseverance. She said that in the past, album cover photos required a lot of retouching, but now she can finally present herself authentically. Although some netizens questioned whether she lost weight through gastric incision surgery, Guo Tingjun clarified that although she had consulted a doctor, she gave up because she did not meet the health insurance payment standards, and finally decided to lose weight by her own efforts. She also revealed that she strictly controlled her weight during her second pregnancy, and continued to work hard after giving birth to achieve amazing weight loss results. News highlights: kiwi fruit is gradually becoming a healthy fruit recommended by nutritionists, rich in vitamin C, dietary fiber, and kiwi enzymes, which help digestion, enhance immunity, improve sleep, and promote collagen synthesis to maintain skin health. In addition, kiwi fruit's low-calorie, high-fiber properties help with weight management and protect cardiovascular health. Experts point out that eating it with the skin is more effective at getting antioxidants and fiber, and remind that kiwi fruit is a natural energy supplement before and after exercise. News highlights: Japanese actress Nagano Miya was recently revealed to be in an affair with married actor Kei Tanaka, and at the same time split Korean actor Kim Moo-jun. Although the three-party agency denied the relationship, Weekly Wenchun recently revealed the line conversation between the two, showing that they have been dating for about 7 months and have a close interaction, and revealed that Kei Tanaka once said that he likes Yeda very much, and Nagano also admitted that "I already like you so much." The two are still in semi-cohabitation, with Kei Tanaka holding the keys to the Nagano family. There is speculation that these conversations may have come from Kei Tanaka's wife, Hiromi Tanaka, who can't bear her husband's indecent scandal and may demand moral compensation. News highlights: 58-year-old actor Dai Loren has attracted much attention for his performance in Da Theater's Dean Dad, and won the Golden Horse and Golden Bell Awards. During the filming, he revealed that he had an emotional breakdown when he played against the 6-year-old boy Yakult, and he shed tears on the spot and couldn't even finish his lines. The little boy's superb acting skills made Dai Loren lose control of his emotions many times, and finally completed the scene after reshooting. In addition, Dai Loren also revealed that he and his girlfriend Gui Lunmi have been in love for 19 years, but there are no plans to get married at present, and he plans to sail to various places in the future. His latest work, Dean Dad, will premiere on May 12. News highlights: according to the Happy City Index report released by the British Quality of Life Institute in 2025, Copenhagen, the capital of Denmark, tops the list, and Taipei jumps from 46th last year to 8th, becoming the third happiest city in Asia. The report evaluates 200 cities, and the analysis indicators include 6 areas: quality of life, economy, and environment. Taipei excelled in governance, environment, and transportation, ranking 2nd, 5th, and 3rd, respectively. In addition to this, Taiwanese cities such as Hsinchu, Zhonghua, and Kaohsiung also made the list, with Taipei leading the way in technological advancement but facing challenges such as tuition fees, obesity rates, and air quality. News highlights: recently, the prosecutors launched a large-scale investigation into the case of the KMT's recall of DPP legislators and joint signatures involving forged documents, and searched party offices in various places, and several party workers have been detained. It has been rumored that there may be a search for the KMT's central party headquarters this week, and the media is already waiting at the scene. Kuomintang legislator Si Lungkai said inside information indicated that there might be a surprise attack and that the DPP might try to force the KMT to undermine the democratic order, eventually leading to the dissolution of the party. He criticized the behavior as resembling green terror and stressed that the KMT was fearless. In addition, Si responded to Zhu Lailun's condemnation of the Nazis, saying that the KMT had no fear, and the DPP's actions could not threaten the KMT. News highlights: in an exclusive interview, President Lai Ching-te talked about the issue of nuclear power and energy, saying that the Taiwan authorities do not rule out the use of advanced nuclear energy, and whether to use nuclear power in the future should be based on 3 foundations: nuclear safety, nuclear waste solutions, and social dialogue. He stressed that Taiwan will not face electricity problems until 2032, and the real challenge is the lack of green electricity, especially in the context of climate change. Li Qiang pointed out that Taiwan will actively develop diversified energy sources including solar energy, wind power, geothermal, small hydropower, hydrogen energy, etc., and remove relevant legal and development obstacles. He also mentioned that social acceptance would increase if advanced nuclear energy technology was safe and there was a solution to the problem of nuclear waste disposal. News highlights: Kuomintang Chairman Zhu Liluan recently criticized President Li Qiang's administration style as similar to Hitler's Nazi regime, and strongly refuted the condemnation from the outside world, saying that foreign governments should not interfere in Taiwan's internal affairs. The remarks sparked condemnation from the German Institute in Taiwan and the Israeli office in Taiwan, but Zhu Liluan hit back by saying that last dictatorship has resonated with the public, not just his personal views. Senior media person Huang Bihan pointed out that Zhu Liluan faced the two major problems of the general recall and the election of the party chairman, and chose a fierce fighting Lun image, so as to attract the support of 47% of the anti-people and consolidate the leadership position of Deep Blue in the party. News highlights: a single mother in South Africa learned that her 20-year-old disabled daughter had been taken home and sexually assaulted by a 65-year-old man after discovering that her 20-year-old disabled daughter was missing. When she arrived at the man's home and found out about her daughter's condition, she beat the man to death with the help of a neighbor in a fit of rage. Subsequently, the mother was arrested, but with the support of the public, the state prosecutor's office eventually dropped the charges against her. She thanked all the supporters and said that she would take full care of her daughter's health and help her get through the low mood. News highlights: TSMC, 2330, drove Taiwan stocks to regain their 5-day moving average on the 9th, and the Silicon Photonics Group also rose in popularity because Nvidia CEO Jensen Huang will come to Taiwan to attend Computex on May 19, and related stocks performed well. Huaxing Guang, 4,979, stock price limit, successfully made up for the gap in early April, and drove Guangsheng, 6,442, Liqi, 8,111, and other stocks to attack. Huang will deliver a keynote speech on breakthroughs in AI and accelerated computing technologies, and is expected to visit graphics card and assembly plants in Taiwan to promote the AI industry's supply chain. Huaxing Guang's revenue in the first quarter hit a record high, and it is actively entering the COC business, which is expected to contribute 10% of revenue in 2025. News highlights: the trade deal between British Prime Minister Skull and US President Donald Trump has raised concerns about British sovereignty and China policy. In the agreement, the UK agreed to allow the US to conduct a substantive review of Chinese investment in the UK, which is seen as a US veto on UK investment in China. While the deal brings some economic benefits, such as reduced tariffs and imports of US beef, it also challenges British sovereignty and long-term economic strategy. Critics fear that this will undermine Britain's diplomatic autonomy, especially as the scrutiny of Chinese investment could have far-reaching implications for future economic policy. News highlights: Darwin City's housing tax this year began to be levied under the Housing Tax 2.0 new system, which has raised questions about the tax rate and amount. Frequently asked questions include, self-occupied housing but being taxed for non-owner occupancy, may be due to incomplete household registration, which needs to be corrected before June 2. There is only one owner-occupied house but the 1% tax rate is not subject to certain conditions, such as the current value of the house is lower than the standard amount. If the rental property is subject to a higher tax rate, you need to voluntarily declare the lease agreement to apply the lower tax rate. The higher present value of taxation compared to last year is due to the use of the reassessed lot rate, which reflects the development of the area and the increase in the value of houses. News highlights: Uber Eats today, 9, released a survey conducted by global research firm Mondala to analyze delivery partner revenue in 2024. According to the report, Uber Eats delivery partners earned NT $270 per hour, with the top 25% earning 312 yuan per hour and the bottom 25% earning 224 yuan. In addition, Uber Eats has launched a delivery trip cost report to help partners understand their earnings and provide suggestions for how to increase their revenue. The platform's ability to feature flexible working hours and self-scheduling attracts quite a few delivery workers, and many see it as a part-time job or an additional source of income. News highlights: Wang Tuzi, a female prosecutor of the new Taipei District Prosecutor's Office, was impeached by the Supervision Yuan and sent to the office court for trial because she twice accepted hospitality from underground exchange operators and allowed Guo Zhemin to abscond overseas 4 times during the investigation of Guo Zhemin's money laundering case. The duty court held that although Wang Tuzi had committed a breach of duty, it was not a material dereliction of duty, and sentenced him to a fine of 3 months, amounting to about $400,000, which could be appealed. During the incident, Wang Tuzi instructed the Criminal Bureau not to execute the warrant and let Guo Zhemin clear customs until he was finally extradited back to Taiwan. News highlights: US President Donald Trump's tariff war is changing the international economic and trade order, especially on small and medium-sized enterprises. Kaohsiung Mayor Chen Kamai pointed out that in addition to technological upgrades, the government should also assist enterprises to improve gross profit margins and sales competitiveness to cope with the increasingly fierce market environment. For the electric vehicle industry, Chen Kamai is more pessimistic, but optimistic about the hydrogen energy field related to electric vehicles. He stressed that Taiwan should actively carry out global industrial layout and help enterprises face the challenges brought about by Trump's tariff war, especially in small and medium-sized enterprises such as screws and nuts, and should strengthen cooperation between the government and banks to support the competitiveness of Taiwan companies in the international market. News highlights: a popular Japanese rice ball restaurant in Kaohsiung City had a dispute with the landlord over a lease dispute, and the landlord had smashed flower pots and recently moved items from the store without permission, causing the two sides to clash again. In the end, the store decided to terminate the contract early and relocate to Qiwa Road, which was confirmed by the local mayor and said that the owner hoped to concentrate on the operation and avoid being troubled by disputes again. When customers learned about it, they came to support the store and express their encouragement. The landlord said that he had not received a notice of termination, and said that the misunderstanding could be resolved, and the dispute between the two parties may end after the termination. News highlights: US President Donald Trump announced today a trade deal with the UK that would expand access to the UK market for US products, including beef and ethanol, and lower non-tariff barriers. Under the agreement, UK automakers will be able to export 100,000 vehicles to the US each year at a reciprocity rate of 10%, which will rise to 25% after exceeding the quota. In addition, the United Kingdom has also agreed to buy Boeing aircraft worth $10 billion. The agreement heralds significant progress in US-UK trade cooperation, although some details are still to be finalized. News highlights: a case in which a young girl filed a lawsuit after having sex with a man she met through a dating app. The girl Xian Xian and the man Awei met after discussing sex beforehand, but found that Awei's appearance was far from the photo, so they expressed regret and asked if they could not have sex, but Awei disagreed. The two ended up having sex twice. Afterwards, Xian Xian expressed her dissatisfaction to her friend and accused Awei of coercion, but the court found that there was no evidence that Awei used coercion and ruled that Awei was not guilty. News highlights: US President Donald Trump said on May 8 that U.S.-China trade talks will be held in Switzerland this weekend and expects the talks to be substantial. Trump revealed that the current 145% tariff on Chinese goods will not be raised again, and may be reduced to 50% to 54%. Although this policy adjustment has not yet been confirmed, people familiar with the matter said that if it is promoted, it will be announced as soon as next week. The news has sparked market concern, especially for industries that rely on Chinese supply chains, about the high cost of tariffs. The White House responded that the final decision would be announced by the president. News highlights: Beishaidan Mizzou incense has entered the 9th day, today, 9th, continue to return north, currently parked in Zhonghua County and Maytown, and plans to go north along Binhai Road and Shengang Road, through the Zhongchang Bridge into Longjing District, Taichung City. Mizzou stopped and rested at Yongyuan Palace in Wuoqi District, and is expected to start driving again at 1 p.m. Beishaidan Gongtian Temple also reminded believers that the front is approaching today, the weather is sultry, and there are thunder showers in the afternoon, calling for precautionary measures. After Mizzou entered Taichung, the Taichung City Police took off their hats to take over, and the atmosphere was warm, and the volunteers were also moved to tears. It is expected to enter Taichung City from the sea line. News highlights: a female master's student at National Taiwan University fell into a teacher-student relationship with a married male supervisor, and later, dissatisfied with the professor's different attitudes, the woman publicly accused the professor of sexual assault and disseminated the professor's personal information and private conversations on forums and messaging apps. The woman even took a photo of the professor undressed and claimed that she was not using a condom. After the professor filed a lawsuit, the female master's student was convicted of violating the personal information law and defamation, and was sentenced to 6 months in prison and fined 180,000 yuan. The High Court held that the case was appealable despite the fact that the woman's claim that the publication went beyond reasonable comment and had a negative impact on the professor in the public interest. News highlights: Xiao S. Su Zidi was recently in a heavy mood due to the sudden death of Da.S. Su Ziwan, and made life changes. She has moved out of the Daibao where she has lived for many years and moved into the National Art Gallery where her mother's mother lives, and has decided to devote more time to taking care of her mother. The Taipei Xinyi mansion purchased by Da.S. before his death still has 250 million yuan of outstanding debts, which will be borne by Da.S.'s husband Gu Junyi and minor children. It is reported that Gu Junyi is currently looking for a new place to live, and is worried that he may need to move out of Taipei Xinyi if the inheritance negotiation fails. News highlights: Li Keixin, a 25-year-old second-generation actress, was recently removed from the crew of the new mainland drama To the Mountains and Seas because of her insulting remarks. Li Keixin was born in Taipei, Taiwan. Her father is Singaporean actor Yu Hongrong, and her mother is Singaporean host Chuan Yifeng. She launched her acting career in the mainland and participated in To the Mountains and Seas starring Cheng Yi. However, Li Keixin was exposed to the audio file, which contained insulting language towards Chinese, which attracted social attention. The whistleblower claimed to be her former assistant and accused her of having a chaotic private life, although the recording has not been officially confirmed and no person has responded. News highlights: 49-year-old actress Zhao Wei announced her divorce from wealthy businessman Huang Yaolong in 2024 and said that she no longer wants to be involved in false reports with her ex-husband. She and Huang Yaolong's only daughter Huang Xin, April Jr., is now 15 years old and is studying in Switzerland, and recent photos have been exposed. In the photo, Huang Xin has a slender and tall figure and big eyes, full of youth, and takes a selfie with a playful expression, suspected of being in the school dormitory. Her long blonde hair and delicate appearance attracted the attention of netizens, who praised her for surpassing her mother Zhao Wei in appearance, and believed that her temperament was similar to that of actress Yu Shuxin. News highlights: YouTuber Nana Q has become popular for her self-disciplined and minimalist lifestyle, and has revealed that she has not worn underwear for more than 2 years, which not only makes her breasts more rounded, but also seems to give her a rare pink areola. She shared an anecdote about a time she was camping with a gay friend, and when the person proudly boasted that she had pink areolas, Nana Q was surprised to say that she also had this trait, and found it to be very rare among many people. She revealed that she did not take special care of herself, but because she did not wear underwear for a long time, she avoided friction and irritation, which may have kept her skin healthy. News highlights: South Korean actor Kim So-hyun was recently accused by Kim Se-ron's family of abducting minors, and was exposed by the Hengzi Research Institute to be involved in murder and extermination. Although Kim So-hyun's agency immediately refuted the accusations, saying that the evidence was forged by AI, as public opinion fermented, it issued a statement again on the 9th, strongly denying the accusations, and said that it would sue Kim Se-ron's family and Kim Shi-ai of the Hengzi Research Institute for additional defamation. The lawyers' team strongly refuted Kim Se-ye's accusation that Kim So-hyun spent 4 billion yuan to buy whistleblowers and sent killers to destroy evidence, and said that the relevant statements were unconvincing, emphasizing that all evidence was false. Kim So-hyun has decided to pursue the relevant responsibilities in accordance with the law. News highlights: a murder case occurred in Nanzi District, Kaohsiung City in the early morning of the 9th. A 45-year-old man surnamed Cheng was suspected of not being recognized by his wife's family because of his marriage, and he had an argument with his 33-year-old wife surnamed Chen after drinking, and his emotions were out of control and his wife was slashed to death with a knife, and he took the initiative to turn himself in after the incident. The two have been married for 2 years and have a 4-month-old baby girl, who will be temporarily taken care of by a neighbor after the incident and will be assisted by a social worker. The police have transferred Cheng Nan for investigation on suspicion of homicide. News highlights: a fatal case occurred in Nanzi District, Kaohsiung in the early morning of the 9th. A 45-year-old man surnamed Cheng suspected that his marriage was not recognized by his wife's family, and he argued with his 33-year-old wife after drinking, and angrily slashed him to death with a knife, and took the initiative to turn himself in after the incident. The couple have a 4-month-old baby girl, who is currently in the temporary care of a neighbor and will be placed by a social worker in the future. The police have sent Cheng Nan to the police on suspicion of homicide, and the details of the case are still pending further investigation. News highlights: after actress S. Su Ziwan died of illness in February, S.'s mother Huang Chunmi fell into deep depression due to grief and needed medical treatment for heart boosters, and it was still difficult to cheer up. The grandchildren are now taken care of by her ex-husband Wang Xiafei and her current wife Mandy, and have been taken to Beijing to live and study. Xiao S suspended work to accompany his mother, and the three of them burst into tears at the mention of Big S, and their emotions were still difficult to calm down. News highlights: a touching picture appeared on the way to the incense of Mizu in Beishaden. A little girl with a congenital disease and wearing a respirator was waiting for Mizu's blessing, and the Mizuluan sedan chair specially stopped and stretched it high to let her drill the bottom of the sedan chair to give blessings. This girl was brought by her parents to see Mizu 4 years ago, and now she has grown up safely. The scene is warm and touching, and netizens have left messages wishing the girl a healthy growth and praising Mizu's compassion. News highlights today, 9th, the front is approaching, the moisture in Taiwan is increasing, it will be cloudy and muggy during the day, with occasional scattered rain in the south and southeast, and localized thunder showers in various places in the afternoon, and it will turn into showers or thunderstorms in the north of the central part in the evening. Kaohsiung, Tainan, and Taitung issued special reports on high temperatures, and some areas may reach more than 36 degrees. Tomorrow, 10th, frontal influence, the western half and northeast rain is obvious. Mother's Day has rain in Taiwan, the north is cooler, it is recommended to go out to bring rain gear and pay attention to keep warm. News highlights: the reality of the situation of Taiwanese people facing the risk of critical illness, especially in the context of medical progress and high treatment costs, emphasizes the importance of early insurance for critical illness and illness. According to the data of the Ministry of Health and Welfare, one person is diagnosed with cancer every 4 minutes and 2 seconds, reflecting the increasing incidence of modern people, and the high cost of treatment often puts patients and families under heavy financial pressure. In this case, Xiaomei was able to concentrate on fighting cancer because she applied for insurance early, and she would not give up treatment because she had no income. Fubon Life took this opportunity to appeal to the public to review the existing insurance policies, emphasizing whether the coverage amount is in line with the actual needs, and pointed out that critical disability insurance, as a practical tool at a reasonable cost, is especially important for petty bourgeoisie who do not have huge savings.